is, should someone report abuse, what procedures are in place to protect them from their abusers and from facing a backlash after making a report? Because I think that is the fear of a lot of people, is that it's not worth it. And yes, the person might get evicted from the club, but where we do tend to have a little bit of this idolatry around our riding idols, you often find that you're not necessarily just incurring the wrath of the person who was the abuser or the assaulter, but from their, I don't want to say their fan club, but from their supporters, their pupils, their patrons, their sponsors. How do we offer to protect victims from that? I mean, that's a really tricky thing, and one only needs to look at what happened with the woman who reported Harvey Weinstein, for example, and how they were pulled through the ringer to realize what an ominous threat this is for so many.
So the reality is that SAEF are using our anonymous reporting app, so you can, number one, make the report anonymously. There is a provision in law that says that if somebody does their evidence and their statement and their witnesses to prove your side of the story. However, there are provisions that we can make if you came to me as Georgie and said, listen, Mark, this has happened, we would make provisions within we would make provisions within the disciplinary code, so not the policy manual, but within the disciplinary code, that would allow for you to give evidence through, no one gets to see you. You can give evidence, you give evidence through another person. There's a lot of ways for us to deal with this. One must bear in mind that South Africa has a Protected Disclosures Act. There is literally legislation that wants to disclose anonymously. We couldn't unfortunately kind of completely go down the road of criminal prosecution, but we certainly could address many of the civil things using that as its own merits, its own curveballs, and really does need a specialist looking into it.